Latgalians, sometimes also Ancient Latvians, were an ancient Baltic tribe. They likely spoke the Latvian language, which probably became the lingua franca in present-day Latvia during the Northern Crusades due to their alliance with the crusaders. Latgalians later assimilated the neighboring tribes, forming the core of modern Latvians. History. The Latgalians were an eastern Baltic tribe whose origin is little known. In the 5th and 6th centuries they lived in the eastern part of present-day Vidzeme, and later on in nearly all the territory of the region. In written sources they are mentioned from the 11th century. In the first 2 decades of the 13th century the Latgalians allied with German crusaders. Their lands as vassal states were incorporated into Livonia. In the 11th century Eastern Orthodoxy started to spread in Latgalian lands from Polotsk and Pskov. In 12th century Latgalian lands and the rulers paid tribute to dukes of Polotsk. In 13th century during the Livonian Crusade Latgalian elders changed their Eastern Orthodoxy for Roman Catholicism and became vassals of Livonian order. Due to crusade many regions of Semigalicia and Courland were left depopulated, so already during the war and also after it part of the Latgalians migrated to those regions. Subsequently between 13th and 16th centuries, they gradually assimilated other Baltic tribes, Salonians, Semigalians and Curonians, who thus became a part of today's ethnic Latvians. Archaeological data. In the lands of the Western and the Eastern Latgalians, about 80 flat cemeteries of Western Latgalian origin have been excavated, with more than 2,000 burials uncovered. The first large-scale excavations took place in Ludzarodukan Cemetery in Latgala, where 339 Late Iron Age burials were uncovered. In the excavations at Pildas Nuksi Cemetery, 218 burials were uncovered, dated to the 9th–12th century. At the Zviegzdanskivti Cemetery, 175 burials from the 7th–12th century were excavated. 315 burials were found at Aglonas Kristapini Cemetery, in use from the late 8th to 12th century. Rglu Jornakeni Cemetery was totally excavated in 1971–1972, with 89 burials being found. At Konis Cemetery, 102 burials from the Late Iron Age were uncovered. In the area of Gauras Latgalians, 2 cemeteries, Drabezuliapinas and Priekulaluagaria, are well excavated too. Archaeological excavations have also been carried out on the hillforts of Enter, Konis, Saramchens, Tanaskans, as well as on other Latgalian sites. Only a few Latgalian settlements have been excavated. Large-scale excavations and reconstruction has been done at the Araisi Lake dwelling site in Latgala, dating from the 6th–7th centuries. There were flat cemeteries as well as barrow cemeteries. In the 9th–10th century the transition started from flat graves to barrows. There are about 15 excavated Eastern Latgalian barrow cemeteries, but usually only a small number of barrows were investigated. Archaeologically identified dwelling sites in Latgala include hill forts, settlements and lake dwellings. Among hill forts, well-researched is Jersika Hill Fort, forming complex together with Dignaha Hill Fort, on the opposite bank of Dorkava. Jersika was occupied in the 10th–14th century, probably after the decline of Dignaha, which had been inhabited since the 6th century. It is possible that ancestors of the so-called Eastern Latgalians migrated to the territory of present-day Latgala in the 7th and 10th–11th centuries, pushed from the previously inhabited territory by Slavic migration. Some archaeologists also believe that the Eastern Latgalians formed from the most ancient East Baltic inhabitants of Latvia, who lived in central and eastern parts of Latvia in the Roman Iron Age.